What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raise.
From the many unpredictable twists to the amazing cast, Legacies has quickly turned into a fan-favorite show in the Vampire Diaries universe. But not everyone has watched TVD, since Legacies has its own original story to offer. However, with TVD and Legacies' first spin-off, The Originals, the show is filled with details and references to our favorite characters and moments from the former CW dramas. Keep watching to see the things only some of you have noticed in Legacies. Mikaelson family. Hope has a very interesting history when it comes to her family. Legacies often uses small details and references to her family which are hard to notice if you haven't watched The Originals and TVD. Alaric mentions Klaus's temper for a moment as there is a short mention of him being the great evil. Other instances happened in other episodes with alternative universe situations. However, when Freya Mikaelson appeared during the second season, a lot of things changed. And we all know that Freya being alive was a secret to Elijah, Klaus, Rebecca, and Cole. Freya was with her Aunt Dahlia, and the two trained together as Freya grew up. We're, of course, talking about magic. Both of them were asleep for a century, and they later spent 1 year awake to travel the world before going back to sleep. But did you guys know that Freya met her siblings in New Orleans during The Originals? She broke the spell and proceeded to be a crucial part of the show. The STEFAN Salvatore Paul Wesley Memorial Library. The Salvatore Library was first mentioned in TVD, and in Legacies, the Salvatore School is of huge importance for TVD fans. This was once a place where STEFAN and DAMON, Ian Somerhalder, spent their nights and did poor decisions. However, in Legacies, the boarding house has been transformed into a school, and the library is a favorite place among the students. But do you guys know where the name comes from? The STEFAN Salvatore Memorial Library is a name given in honor of STEFAN sacrificing his life in the Vampire Diaries season finale. He did this because he wanted to save his brother and the whole mystic town from the evil that was about to happen. During Legacies, it was mentioned that there's even a special case that keeps STEFAN's journals, his daylight ring, and the necklace he gave Elena, Nina Dobrev. BENNETT blood. Now we'll go back to when Josie and Lizzie needed to use the Ascendant. In order to do this, they needed the help of other witches and BENNETT's blood. BENNETT blood was the only method to produce and escape a prison world under normal conditions. And Mystic Falls has had a lot of occasions where BENNETT witches have practiced magic. Bonnie is mentioned a lot of times in Legacies, and she is a character that appeared in TVD. In fact, she was introduced in the very first episode. The history of BENNETT witches was an essential part of the Vampire Diaries, and Bonnie was an important part of why the Mystic Falls group succeeded in many things. Bonnie, Bennett, Josie, and Lizzie were the people behind placing Kai Parker in the prison world he was trapped in Legacies.
Sorry, Josie, you cannot leave me alone with just her for company.
Not now, Dana. You might be surprised to know that Lizzie's opponent at Mystic Falls High, Dana Lillian, has something to do with the Vampire Diaries. Remember Lizzie's line, "Not now, Dana," at their flag football game? A chipper girl named Dana regularly appeared as a student and fellow cheerleader on the Vampire Diaries. She became really popular after one of her shifts with Matt. Not now, Dana. She eventually died on senior prank night in season 3, but Not Now, Dana became a cult sentence.
Good game. Suck it, loser.
Ugh, not now, Dana!
Ripper vampires. After seeing a few students feeding on townies, Dorian describes what a Ripper is to Caleb, Chris Lee. According to him, it is a vampire who is motivated by obsession and the satisfaction of their own desires. And also, according to him, this does not know for boundaries. They will go way too far if their needs need to be satisfied. However, he says this about STEFAN killing his own family when he went on Ripper mode with Klaus in 2010. This happened between season 2 and 3 of the Vampire Diaries. He even suggests that MG is susceptible to convert into one. Alaric's past. Legacies is a supernatural drama that is a spin-off of The Originals. The show often presents characters from The Originals and The Vampire Diaries, but the main focus is Hope Mikaelson. She is the daughter of the first original hybrid, Klaus Mikaelson and Hayley Marshall. Hope comes from the bloodlines of the most powerful werewolf, vampire, and witch. Legacy's story begins 2 years after the events in The Originals. She is a 17-year-old girl who goes to the Salvatore School, which is especially made for supernatural creatures, so they can learn more about their powers and control them. While Alaric is the headmaster on Legacies, his past is filled with twists. Alaric was first a vampire hunter before he turned into a school headmaster. For a short time, Alaric had the powers of an original vampire for the purpose to hunt vampires. Alaric was also brought to life many times by the Gilbert Ring. He had even been dead for a long time before being brought back when the other side was falling. Damon and ELENA'S children. Do you guys remember when Lizzie wished for an alternate reality where Hope never came to the Salvatore School? Well, in that episode of Legacies, we saw Josie mention Damon and ELENA'S kids while describing why the school has had struggles with money. So, the Salvatores have been very hospitable with the school, but they had their own kids, so they needed to take care of them too. What this indicates is that Damon and ELENA had babies. Also, in another alternate reality, Josie made mention of Stephanie Salvatore, and she is Damon and ELENA'S daughter. We also know her name is given out of respect to the deceased STEFAN.
Where I have to go against every single thing that I believe in again because I love you.
Then stop loving me.
I can't.
Hope's parents. We know that Hope's parents, Klaus Mikaelson and Hayley Marshall, are dead. They died when they tried to protect Hope in 2 different events. Hope is a tribrid, and this is a frightening thing to many figures, but when Hope's life was about to be over, Hayley jumped to save her daughter, burning in the sun, and she was without her daylight ring. Later, after Hope breaks her werewolf curse, Klaus chooses to remove the hollow from Hope. In order to do that, he got help from Josie and Lizzie Saltzman to siphon the hollow from Hope and set it into Klaus. Klaus died throughout the ritual. Caroline Forbes. Fans of the Vampire Diaries and the originals are always more than happy to see references and nods to TVD and the originals. But there's one character that has been mentioned on the show several times. However, she has yet to appear on the show, and we're talking about Caroline Forbes. She is a fundamental appearance in this universe, and fans expect to see her in Season 3. Caroline is of big importance because she gave birth to Josie and Lizzie on the Vampire Diaries. Just like Hope Mikaelson, Danielle Rose Russell, Josie, Kaylee Bryant, and Lizzie, Jenny Boyd Saltzman, have a strong bond to the Vampire Diaries and the originals. Most of the Legacies characters first appeared on TBD. The twins were conceived by Alaric and his witch wife, Jo, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe. And just when Jo's brother, Kai Parker, Chris Wood, killed her on her wedding day, witches used magic to place Jo's twins in Caroline's, Candace Acola's, womb. Caroline was mentioned a few times on Legacies, as being Josie and Lizzie's mom is a pretty big deal. During Legacies, it was mentioned that Caroline is in Europe on a secret mission, trying to find means to save her daughters from the Gemini curse. Also, Alaric has spoken to Caroline on the phone, and during Season 2, Lizzie and Josie go to Europe to see and spend some time with Caroline. Hope and Landon. There are many notices and flashbacks to Hope and Landon's first dance, which happened during the original's final season. At that time, Landon served at the Mystic Grill, the town's restaurant, and that's how he first met Hope. What's not told in Legacies is that during their first dance, Hope's dying father, Klaus, is present. We want to know who was your favorite Legacies character and why. Do share with us in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed our video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of our videos again. Thanks for watching, guys!